Good evening, race fans. Welcome to week 8 of Sunday Night Skippy racing action, coming to you live from virtual Nürburgring, or Nürburg, Germany, I guess, the Nürburgring. We're going to be doing the long route tonight, nearly 13 miles around the German countryside. I'm really excited. We did this last season as well. We are coming to you over the airwaves of Cavok Racing Network's YouTube and Twitch platforms. So search for Cavok, that's C-A-V-O-K Racing on either one, and you'll find us there. We will be monitoring the comments on both Twitch and YouTube. Sorry about that. And we're already seeing Textuals out there. I believe that's Scott. Hello to you, and hope you're having a great evening and looking forward to this race as much as I am. Also joining me in the booth tonight is, for the first time, not broadcasting, but certainly with us, Avery. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I saw you guys were racing here, and I'm like, I got to be a part of this. It's such a fun track. I mean, there's so many opportunities to make up time with a car like this Skip Barber. For a 5-lap race, I'm just excited for just a fun race here.
Yeah, I got to put it all on the line. We've got quite a grid too. Currently looking at nearly 40 cars, 40 Skip Barber Formula 2000s that are going to be taking the grid tonight and racing their way around the track. And as we talk, we did the setup for this race just a little bit differently. Normally there's an open practice, and then we'll do a 10 or 15 minute lone qualifying session, but because of the size of the racetrack and the lap times involved, the decision was made, just like last season, to hold basically an open qualifying for about an hour and 15 minutes. And so this entire time, our drivers have been laying down lap times in hopes of getting a good grid position, which we'll bring up here. You can see the qualifying time coming to an end with Pete Mulbroughton on the pole. And Carl Dronke starting with him there on the front row, and just barely missing that, breaking that 8-minute barrier there. That is a really fast time for Pete. No surprise there. Has held, and I did not get clarity on this, but has held, at least for a little bit, the world record there on iRacing on this track in this vehicle. So should be no surprise to see Pete there gaining those extra bonus points on the pole.
Yeah, super fast driver. I mean, if you race a Skip Barber here and you don't know who he is, you don't race a Skip Barber much in this track.
Right.
Such a fast driver. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah, he's made a name for himself for sure, and we're fortunate to have him. It's going to be, I mean, clearly the favorite going into tonight, but hot lapping's one thing. But you put some 40 other drivers on the track, and it's a completely other thing. We do have the likes of Carl, Jeffrey, Chris, Judah, Jason, Jack, Paul. I mean, just the list goes on all the way down of guys who are gonna make a push to put Pete, get the pressure on, and so it is Pete's race to win at this point at least. But it's far from a foregone conclusion.
Oh, this is one of the toughest tracks on all of iRacing. You can make a mistake at any point, and when you make a mistake here, the car is junk. So it's anyone's game here. There's a reason why it's a 5-lap race and not a hot lap competition. Is you got to make it through the whole race with the minimum amount of mistakes.
That is correct. I'm trying to see here, sorry, and we may still have some drivers out there on the track. Now, you typically with open qualifying sessions, if you've started the lap, you do have the opportunity to finish said lap before the session goes final. I am showing Jeff Torbeck, Jake Ashe, and I believe Jack Moffitt's looks like he's done, so it may just be Jeff Torbeck. I could be wrong. At any rate, that's going to make that final. As I'm trying to sit there and talk through that, I do believe that the that the session has gone final. So what we'll do right now is basically show everybody the grid. Congrats again to Pete Mulbroughton on the pole. Pete is still out there is the word that I'm getting. That's interesting. He is.
Yeah, put fastest sector so far the whole lap except for 2 and 5. So uh, look to see a quick time coming up here. Maybe try to get into the 7-minute bracket.
Yeah, not satisfied with pole position. He's gonna push it even further. Let's try to get his sector times up. He is setting personal bests here on the evening so far.
Yeah, just nice and smooth, hitting the apexes, using up the track as much as you can to really gain as much speed and keep as much speed as you got to use the track, those track outs, just to really push the limits here. And that's what he is. You saw him right there, just really push the limit.
I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's tuning in this evening. Great to see everybody, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys have. You know, what sort of show they're going to put on tonight. Right now, we're watching. If you're just tuning in, Pete Mulbroughton currently sitting on pole, setting some hot sectors for the evening so far, and finishing out the qualifying. He's about 3/4 of the way through the lap right now. I will bring up the track map very shortly. Obviously, we did not get a chance to do our track tour with Ian, but I can promise you, you wouldn't have remembered it anyway. It's one of these 8-minute laps. It's very tough to remember, but here we go. There's Pete Mulbroughton. You can see him coming back down south, if you will. And like you said there, Avery, just kind of setting purple sectors as we go. 7 and 8. Just a touch slower, but you know, cumulatively, I still think he may have a shot here at the besting his current 8 minutes. And what is that? 0.54 seconds.
Yeah, just a half second away from the 7-minute bracket. But the one thing is this whole field is, you know, very equally. They've got a lot of drivers have times that are really close to each other, so you're gonna always be racing somebody. And when you're at this track, that's very important because. We're just cruising around by yourself. I mean, it's a long track.
It is. It really is. I know. So I am actually with Joe there. He made a comment about this track not getting along. I have not yet learned this track, and it's one of my great regrets at the moment because I've really wanted to get into it and check it out. But one thing that Ian brings up a lot on his track tours is that sometimes this track is just so long that you kind of forget what turn you're coming up to and which one's coming up next. Starts to all kind of look the same, and it's hard to maintain that concentration and consistency.
That happens to me at the easiest of road courses, and if I
You're
was
right.
to come here, I would lose track after the first turn.
I can't argue with that. Well, here we go. Pete's crossed the line, and he won't break 8 minutes, but it will be close.
Yeah, I believe he's the last driver on the track, so we begin the long 5-minute wait for this qualified session to get over. You know, I've missed the last couple of weeks, Chris. I usually tune in, but I mean, how's the races been going so far? I mean, such a fun series to watch.
Yeah, the racing has been getting, you know, there's a bit there with people getting, you know, just a little frustrated. There's a lot of people really pushing the issues, but I think we've kind of wrangled that in a little bit. But the racing itself has, at least from a spectator's perspective, has been really fun to watch. There's some great action throughout the field. Honestly, we've been spending a lot more time mid-pack than we have watching some of the leaders sometimes on some of these races, just because that's where the good, you know, wheel-to-wheel action is. That being said, the other thing that we've changed this season that I think has made things much more exciting, and I will bring that up right now, our point standings here. We changed the way we structured the points, which ultimately is leading to less of a gap between the leaders, and we've placed a premium on leading laps Getting a pole will obviously get you some bonus points, and kind of reduce the gap between points for the overall standing. So what that ultimately has is what you see here on screen, and you get only a couple double-digit gaps between positions and quite a few ties all the way through the field, really. So each race counts, I guess is what I'm getting at. And so, we saw last week Chris and Edwin kind of have a little bit of trouble with, some bad luck or this or that, the other thing, and that could be a huge difference. And I think Pete, during his post race interview, thought he was out of it there for a little bit, and kind of used that to his advantage mentally. To have a great race, but when you look at the points there, he's still well in there. He's currently got a podium for the season, and still fighting hard to claw his way back up to Edwin and Chris. So bad race here or there could mean all the difference, but at the same time, we've been seeing a lot of that throughout the field, including the top contenders, and that's why you see the close races that you do, or the close standings that you do here, which I think has added to some of the excitement.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you take a look at the behind the next on the right side of that. I mean, a lot of those drivers are, I mean, within 5 points the competitor next to them, or even tied. So I mean, you're always racing against somebody. That always makes a points battle. If I can say, if I'm in 15th, if I'm a couple points back from 13th, I'm gonna try to the best of my ability to even just to get by them. So yeah, the points are tight. That makes the races fun for everybody. So it's always cool to see when a season's kind of underway and the points are still tight.
And the other thing we'll bring up here is the team points, which still, this actually got a little bit tighter. I do believe that Snail Racing there taking the lead is a relatively new. I don't know if that was the last race or the race before, but you can see. Well, actually, it must have been the last race because they got the +1 up there. So Snail Racing taking the lead, something that was sleeping on, to be honest with you. I thought running on empty had kind of run away with it. So this race is far from over 11, 16 and 18 points there, at least between the top four. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how these drivers. I think we do have all of Snail running on empty. I think Toxic is here. Toxic maybe no. Toxic's all here. So yeah, we've got everybody here tonight. At least they're toward the front of the grid. So.
Yeah, the snails are usually known for being slow, but they're definitely Snail Racing has definitely proven that wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got to imagine that's a little tongue in cheek, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a cool little battle there. I mean, it gives a whole team aspect because a lot of series have team points, and about 4 or 5 races into it, it's not very tight. But as you take a look at that graphic you had up, I mean, it's still super tight, and so that's always cool to see that you can work together as a team and try to accomplish something besides maybe just a driver's championship.
Yeah, 100%. And I know that a lot of the guys there who got onto a team, and they take it pretty seriously. I mean, as far as serious as you can, iRacing, but
Yeah.
it's very competitive, and it's fun to see, both as a team and individually. Guys are tracking this stuff, they're clocking it. They know where their standings they're at. They know who's in front of them. They know who's behind them. Just having chats with individuals throughout the week on Discord, and they're aware. They know. Yeah, they're going out there to race every week, but yeah, they're keeping an eye on where those drivers are that are around them in the overall standings too. We'll bring up the grid here. Once again, congratulations to Pete Mulbron on the pole position, and I'm just gonna kind of run through the rest of the grid. I do not believe if they are doing the drivers meeting. I think that I'm having some audio issues here. I must have mapped something wrong. So we may have to do a little song and dance here while they do that. Normally we like to listen in, but I do not think that that's working at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of these times are super close. I mean, see some of the drivers just so close in times, and that's kind of what you get at a longer track like this when the field is very large. There's always gonna be somebody running a similar time in qualifying. But like kind of like you said earlier, hot lapping's one thing, but it's a 5-lap race, so just got to limit your mistakes and really just try to do the best you can. I mean, the Sunday Night Skippy series is a very elite series. Got a lot of talented drivers in here, so I mean, I'm excited just to be a part of it for one night.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you very much for joining us. By the way, it was very gracious of you to help out, and um, people don't have to listen to me the whole night, and I'm pretty sure the viewers out there are pretty happy about that. But yeah, to your point, we do have some tight qualifying. I mean, 20 seconds between first and last, but at the same time, just like we're talking about, there's a wide variety of, we've got some 6,000 high rating guys and some 600 high rating guys. So you would absolutely expect to see that. And apparently we're off. I completely missed that. Apparently we're starting right away. I was expecting a whole long driver's briefing. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The lights are out and we are off. And we already have Louis and Scott Dorkins, Oliver. We have some crashes going on further back in the field.
Yeah, such a tough corner, tough start. Definitely with these cars, opportunities are to make a big pass is definitely on the start of the race. So, had a couple drivers get into some incidents, but still, I mean, relatively, it was a pretty clean start.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much damage on all these cars that were involved. Once things settle out a little bit, I'll go back and look, but it does look like most everybody's in. Only JR Hoops and Louis Bavoni are in the pits. So it looks like 2 cars opted to get the tow and fix, and everybody else remains out on the track.
Nice little battle here, though. I mean, like we were saying earlier, Pete super quick at the hot laps, but this is such a great battle. You got Pete and Carl and Chris there, and Jeffrey coming just in that nice little pack here. It's gonna be super tight as they go into a very looks like a really nice move by Carl there to take over the race lead.
Yeah. No plan survives first contact with the enemy, and there you go. Carl takes advantage. He's going to lead with Chris Herrera and Jeffrey Decker. It looks all the way through the top 8 are going to hold it there pretty close. I'll bring up the gaps here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, about 7 to 8 car train there. The rest kind of pulled away, about a 2.5 gap between the last car of the train. That is Paul Bately in 8th with about a 2.5 gap. So for them, that's really good, but they just got a nice little train of cars. Oh, caution, we got a wreck in the back there. Not quite sure who that was. Might have been, I think that was Sean in the 186.
Oh, that was. He remains off the track at the moment, trying to find a place to safely rejoin in parallel. Ultimately going to lose about 10 spots or so.
Yeah, lost about 10 spots, but it's still early, a 5-lap race. Most tracks, when you think of 5 laps, that's really short, but not here. So he's going to be able to work at it, try to get back up to a couple positions, but still a really strong battle with this front train led by Carl up 1 spot. Made a nice move on Pete, but this is a good train, and we're still not even halfway through the first lap.
I do want to give a shout out there to Mark Bradshaw, who updated Peter Nodwell's paint scheme for this evening. So we will be focusing in on that here in just a little bit, so you guys can see the new hotness on that 73 car. And saw some. Oop. And it does look like, sorry, we've got a couple more cars off there. R. Scott Bell and who was that? Daniel Pikowski off the track. That is R. Scott Bell, unfortunately going to be taking the tow back to the pits. Looks like he tried to do it, but yeah, that is a long time to sit there and wait. We've all been there. Nelson Addison, I'm also getting an indication, has crashed here, but in the meantime, Chris Herrera taking over second place, if not, at least for the moment. Pete's going to give them room, understanding that there's a lot of racing left, but
yeah, still a lot of racing left. But this is an intense battle on lap number 1. You see Carl there and Pete and Chris Herrera just really putting on a battle here. It was 3 wide for a part of it, but they're able to get it back to just 2 double file. Strong move by Herrera there, trying to make a nice pass on Pete. One thing about this track, Chris, is one time you're in the preferred line, the next corner you're in the non-preferred line. So you just got to try to make it stick and make the move.
yeah, your advantage is fleeting for sure. So you got to want it. Oh, I thought maybe Carl there got a little bit slow, but either way, Chris is going to pull up wheel to wheel on him and make the pass. I don't know if that was purposeful or Carl just got a little bit loose or what, but
yeah, Chris able to take over the lead up 3 spots, so pretty impressive so far. Lap number 1 here for the Sunday Night Skippy Series. It's been a battle so far. If this is anything to the beginning of this race is anything of what it's going to be for the rest of the race, I mean, this is going to be exciting. It's going to be probably one of the best races I've seen in a long time.
I know I got some coffee and I don't think I even need it. This is going to be great.
Yeah, sometimes you need the coffee. Today, no coffee for me for how exciting this one is. I'm glad I didn't brew a cup of coffee for this one.
Well, let's look a little bit further back here. We do have a great battle. I'm seeing the 398 of Doug Metzel. And he's got Scott Dorkins dead to rights here in his crosshairs, but Scott just not giving up. Jonathan Dockery is going to be off the track. You can see him there in that green car off to the side. Doug looking inside, looking outside, and he's got nothing for Scott, at least for the moment. And that's going to allow Jeff Torbeck, Peter Nodwell, and since we were talking about him, here we go. There's a 73. And the brand new Mark Bradshaw special livery.
Man, that's a beautiful car. Woo.
Very clean, very clean. I like it.
Yeah.
I like those clean lines.
Oh yeah, 5-car train. You see, I believe that was.
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah,
Scott's off. Yeah, so it's gonna let Doug by. A little further up, we do have some action here. Bill Groombridge is in a sandwich there between Gherkin and Steve. This is their own little 3-car battle.
Yeah, lots of 3-car battles and 4-car and 5-car battles, here at this track. So it's great for all the drivers that are involved to be able to race with somebody. As we're getting close to completing the lap number 1, just a couple more sectors to go. 3 wide there. Now it's back to 2. Real big run for Carl. It's a long straight.
Yeah, Jeffrey Decker just kind of looking on for the moment. Not a bad idea, to be honest. We're right along board with Jeffrey as we go into the last few turns, looking up at that battle for the lead.
And sometimes being in this spot's a good idea, because then you can kind of react and see what the other drivers are doing, and you don't have to be driving so hectic trying to make around somebody. So kind of holding up the tail of this field. So they got a 1.5-second gap or so between first and then Jeffrey Decker, and then about 2.5-second gap between 5th and 6th. So they don't really have to worry too much about the cars behind them at the moment.
All right, well, it's going to sort itself out a little bit. Let's check back further in the field, and let's see, Ruben and Phil. Phil actually up 12 spots total. Great for him. And Andrew Cole, or Cole W. Cole, depending on which overlay you're looking at. He is also up 12 spots. A little further up, Aaron Law, also up 12 spots. That seems to be a popular amount to be up here, as he tries to hunt down Oliver Hartley.
Yeah, up 12 spots is huge here. I mean, definitely had a couple cars go out, but still maintaining a good pace and moving up the field is, when you kind of start towards the back, that's the goal for the beginning of the race. Just kind of complete a lap number 1 here. So lap 1 of 5 down, and this is super exciting. I'm glad I jumped in for this.
Yeah, you picked a great race to to jump in and help out, man. This is worked out well for everybody, I'd say. We'll check back in here with the leaders, and I want to check in. Jack Moffitt was racing up in the front, and I think I missed it. He went off the track, and he is currently showing out, so let's go back and watch the replay and surmise what may have happened. Oh, yep, just swings it wide, and just checking out the new damage model there for Jack Moffitt, unfortunately.
Oh, the new damage model works.
It's unfortunate there for Jack Moffitt. He is out. That's going to leave 5 cars really in that front pack. Right now, Chris, Carl, Pete, Judah, Jeffrey have opened up a 3-second gap over Jason, who's kind of out there on his own at the moment. You can see him coming around the turn right there.
Yeah, nice battle here. Still that 5-car train, led by Herrera, and then Decker's holding up the tail of the train. Take a look at Carl. Was trying to maybe look at an opportunity to get around him. Looking back, we are looking back from Chris Herrera, running on an empty car to 687, keeping the numbers nice and cool. Really put on a really good pace. But, you got Carl right behind him, and made it locked up the tires maybe just a touch, but like we've been seeing, these drivers are using that track limits to gain as much speed and keep the momentum up, because this is a momentum-based car. It's not a car where you can just go, ooh, I can hit the throttle and go, ooh. Carl puts a good drive in on Chris. Man, that was, oh yeah, just pushing the limit. 2 laps, lap number 2 of 5 here at the Nürburgring. Looking from Carl's point of view, looking at that gearbox of Herrera. Just mining, trying to, oh, Chris goes a little wide, get up under the curbing. These cars can handle the curbing just a little bit, unlike maybe a Formula 3.5. So Carl making a strong move side by side. He has a good run. We'll see if he's going to be able to maintain.
I love those gearbox and nose camera angles there. It just gives you a real appreciation for how close these drivers are to one another, and kind of the concentration. We talked a lot about how difficult the track is, and just remembering, what turns are coming up and all that, and now you add to it a car inches away from you, and you got to worry about that on top of everything else. So
yeah, you could probably barely fit a phone book in between first and second there, going down that straightaway, and man, that's a little too close for me.
Certainly the yellow pages.
I get one of the yellow pages from the late 90s when it's a really thick book.
That's right.
It's got home numbers. So, yeah, just everybody's got the landlines there. But take a look at Carl, taking over the lead over Herrera down through one of my favorite turns.
So much fun to watch.
Oh yeah, absolute blast to watch here. Sunday night Skippy series. If you like what you see, if you like what you're seeing now, come back again next week, same time, same place. It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, we do every Sunday. Every Sunday nights at 9 p.m. And if you're actually interested in racing, I believe our waiting list is actually quite low at the moment. So if you got a C-class road license, check us out on the. You can search for Sunday Night Skippy on the. Oh, Carl's gonna go wide, just a touch though. I don't even know if he got an off track for that, but sorry, what was I saying? Yes, come join us. Check us out for the Sunday Night Skippy Racing League on iRacing, or I will flash the Discord there at the end and come hang out. If nothing else, we do practice races on, I believe it's Wednesday and Friday nights, if I'm remembering correctly. And those are always a lot of fun. Do not have to be an active member in the league to participate in those. So Still a lot of this close racing going on, and I am seeing Nikolai Wood giving us a hint here. Steve Dewar in the 66 car making his way up 6 spots, and he's got a second and a half between him and a top 10 finish right now.
Yeah, really good run by Steve. Up, like you said, up 6 spots. Just a fantastic run so far. Trying to make another move up into the top 10. Just a couple spots away in the New Jersey club with the good old team undecided. Really running super strong.
Yeah, he and Jason have run pretty well this season. Strong finishes. So it's really good to see them finally finishing, but they both early in the season just kind of had that bad luck with getting wrecked out and you know, getting punted and all that. But I'll tell you what, you remove those incidents, and these are 2 very strong, very consistent drivers there for Team Undecided.
Yeah, it's such a good little run we have here so far. We got Herrera, Pete, Carl. Pretty much we're almost 3 wide for a second down the long straightaway. It does take some time with these cars, and allows you kind of to swap positions a little bit.
Line formation there. They are a beam, one another, 2 by 2, and got to remember, these are 8-minute laps or so, but there's points to be had for leading these laps. Oh,
Yeah,
and it looks like, is that Carl? Carl taking the pit. Yeah, so with only 5 laps, this is going to be interesting. One thing, if you're new to the league, we do force a pit stop based on the amount of fuel these skip arbors carry. You basically cap it. So you see a little bit of pit strategy coming in here. Carl's going to be the only taker at the moment, and he's going to basically put himself out on an island, and that may be the strategy. Pitting early will separate you from the rest of that traffic and allow you to just kind of race out there on your own. But I don't know if there's anything else that went into that calculus for him, but he was running up front, and so now the game is on.
Yeah, maybe try to get some clean air. Spent 30 seconds down in the pit lane, so real quick, you know, when I practiced here a little bit earlier, and that was a lot quicker than I was going through pit lane. So we'll have to see when these other drivers make their way down and see what they get. As you see on the left side of your screen, drivers in the pits, they'll have a pit or a pit exit if they're leaving the pits. So keep a look at that timing and scoring. Look for the driver that you're paying attention to and see where they're at. So I always try to keep an eye on that side of the screen when I'm trying to call a race.
Yes. Yeah, it is. And actually, you know, normally with more laps, actually, you know what? Why not? Let's just do it. I'm going to bring up the pit lap just so you can see. There's not going to be much variation because there's only 5 laps, but you can at least see if somebody's pit or not in the past already. So obviously Carl, the leader amongst those who decided to pit on lap 2. I have to imagine that everybody else is going to be pitting on this go-around, but I've been wrong before, so.
You know, but the one thing that I've noticed in some of the races I've been calling lately is, you know, sometimes getting that clean pit entrance is more important than pitting with the lead group, because you can just drive it in there a little bit harder, get down to that pit road speed limit, excuse me, because no limiter on these cars. So you got to be very cautious trying out the speed. You can gain so much time in pit road, but which sounds kind of weird. You would think going so slow you're going to lose time, but using the best entrance and exit coming out pit road. So that's maybe why Carl made that decision to come in a little early to get that clean pit entrance. But you see Pete leading the field, then Herrera in second, putting on a really strong run.
And a little further back, let's just go to the field. I just want to make sure that we mention, we haven't talked much about Judah and Jeffrey. They are hanging out there in that lead group still. Jeffrey remains in the back of the pack looking on. We'll do a quick through the field here. Jason Bice in the 21 car up 1 spot total, but kind of out there on his own. They've opened up, the front group has opened up a little over 5 second gap on him. You got to go a couple seconds back to Mike Bowers in P6. And then Paul Beatty's going to be in P7. Another 6 seconds back all the way to Don Parks in P8. Up 22 spots is Doug Metzel. What a run for him tonight in the 398 car. Currently sitting in P9. And Gurkan Demir in that really slick looking 913. Skip Barber will round out your top 10. And you can see the aforementioned Bill Groombridge and Steve Dewar just in Gurkan's rearview mirror. So he's going to have a battle on his hands for that top 10. Right behind them is Carl Dronke, who we mentioned earlier is the one who is the first one to pit. So he's working his way back up, and it looks like his pace has been really good. So he spent 29.5 seconds on pit lane. That's the time to beat for that lead group.
Yeah, pretty quick. Everybody else kind of averaging around, just maybe around the 29, got a couple of 30s and a 40 second pit time. So really good pit stop for Carl. We're going to have to wait a little bit to see how the rest of the lead pack goes. One thing that Carl has going for him is he's got relatively clean air, so he's not have to worry about braking too early because of a car that's has a little bit slower pace than he does. So real clean track from so far. We'll see if he's going to be able to catch up to Steve and Bill in 11th and 12th. Those drivers are. So kind of just getting there, kind of running your times, really nice and smooth, hitting your marks. Even though there are like 1,000 marks on this track, so you gotta be able to hit those marks.
And we'll give another shout out there. I see some team running on empty in the house tonight on the comments, and we haven't talked about you much, but obviously Chris holding strong in the lead there, and that's really great to see. I do not see James Hauser running tonight, so Chris carrying the flag for team running on empty here at Nords, and doing it pretty well so far.
Yeah, put on a really good effort, super strong. Carl really get into that corner, got a little bit sideways. Take a look at Carl here, just put a really nice move. Has a couple of drivers he's trying to get around, needs to get up and get through the field as much as possible, or quick as possible. Only a couple of drivers.
Yeah, it's good.
Off tracks.
Yeah, as I say, it's a good problem to have when the quote-unquote slower traffic in front of you is the likes of Steve and Bill. But yeah, it's just goes to show you how fast Carl is.
Yeah, super fast drivers here that we're watching right now. Carl putting on a really good effort, pretty much right on the gearbox of Bill. Able to get a nice run out of that corner. Still going to stay behind him. Drivers are inching their way towards pit road. When I mean inching, they are inching their way because this is such a large track. One time I thought I was going to do a 24-hour race by myself here. I'm like, I can't even do one lap. So
that's impressive actually. Oh, somebody's off the track there. Is that?
That was the. It looked to be.
They just looked like they went off, and now they're towing. Carl trying to make his way around. Let's check out, not to cut away too fast, but here we go. Pete Mobrotten now leading the way, has passed Chris. They're going to be coming up here on these last few turns, and this is going to be the lead pack now. Jeffrey has fallen off by nearly 4 seconds, so I'm not 100% sure what happened there, but this lead pack of 3 is going to be approaching their pit lane entry.
Yeah, Decker's sector 4 was about 3.5 seconds slower than the top of the top 3 drivers, so that might have had something to do with it. But still in a good spot if something was to happen. I mean, still running 4th place is very respectable in this series. Finishing a race here is honestly impressive in itself.
Certainly.
Yep, like the drivers, like you're saying, kind of you want to get the best spot right here. You want to be in the lead going in the pits because you can send it in the quickest. You see Judah, Chris, and Pete just really putting on a really good run. Judah takes over the lead. Nice
There we
pit
go.
entrance here. In the right spot. We're going to getting through the corners, getting down, making sure you're not going over 37 mile an hour. That is the pit road speed limit. Getting fuel. 15-second was the average pit time for most of these drivers.
Check back in with Carl as we keep an eye on pit exit for the leaders. And here comes Carl as you see the rest of the train that he was running with.
Judah put down
Exit
a good 27.5 second pit time. So, ooh, he was flying there. You got to make up time. Started being in the lead of the leader of the pack going to the pits. Yes, almost everybody's pitted so far.
Yeah, we're gonna presume that everybody's has gone in or is going in, and we'll bring up the pit lane time so everybody can see what you were looking at there on the timing tower. And yeah, certainly Judah just kind of rocking it now. We never know. We do not have a pit road reporter. We don't have access to, you know, any sort of communication between a driver and their engineer or whatever. So the thing
their
you
crew
have
just
to
did something
wonder,
right.
yeah, right. Yeah, there's some good motivation for Judah's crew. The one thing, this happened to Carl, I forget if it was last week or the week before, but very, very fast pit time. He actually did an overcut, if you will, and pit as one of the later drivers to pit. And I thought maybe his shorter pit time had to do with the fact that he had to put less fuel in, but when it came down to it, he did not have enough fuel to finish the race. So that is the only question mark that I have right now for that 222 car, is if that fast pit time is a product of not enough fuel.
Yeah, sometimes you got to risk it though if you want to get the win. Because if he would have came out with that time, he would have been probably right with that pack. So got 2-second gap right now, and ours about second 1 and 8/10 or so. So yeah, you never know what you're going to be able to do. I always try to take too much fuel because I know that I'm not going to probably win the race. So you know, sometimes I like to have a little extra fuel.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never been in a position where I've had to nickel and dime my fuel amount. I guess fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, but yeah, these guys these guys are definitely feeling the crunch for sure. So right now, like you said, Pete's gonna really have to hammer down, and Chris right hot on his tail at any rate. 1.75 seconds is the current gap, so keep your eye on that. 1.75 seconds, and we will see what Pete and Chris have for our current race leader, Judah Tolman. Let's do a quick through the field one last time, as we'd like to give everybody just a little bit of we've been really focused on the leaders, and that's all great and fun, but I want to make sure everybody gets a little bit of time on here, and we recognize just how great all these drivers are doing. The number 13 car of Jeffrey Decker currently sitting in P5. Just behind him, Mike Bauer's coming down the hill, approximately 5.5 seconds behind Jeffrey. He has passed Jason Bice. You can see him there just behind the 21 car. Paul Beatty a little bit further behind them in P8. And 6 seconds behind them, we're going to see Don Parks coming up the hill.
That's a cool car.
And yes, yeah, agreed. Doug Metzel still up 21 spots. Bill Groombridge in the Navy Blue Angels. Steve Dewar and Jeremy Grandin. Oh, I thought I could hang on to that one shot. That's fine. Sean Trediak is currently down 3 spots in total. I thought I saw him involved in an earlier incident. Currently sitting in P14. I'll have to go back and check my notes on that. But if that's true, then that's still a pretty dang good result. He is fighting for some overall championship points. Every position counts, and I'm sure he's well aware of that. Aaron Law up 17 spots in P15. You can see the Google car that everybody recognizes there of Oliver Hartley just behind him. It's going to be another 9 seconds back to Ruben Ray, who's worked himself onto an island there. Up 12 spots in P17. Andrew Cole up 16 spots. Great run for Andrew Cole. Up in P18. Daniel Pagowski. Carter Stickney. Talked about Gurk and Demir. His slick looking car. Bill Erikellian. I'm saying that right. He's up 13 spots total. A lot of good gainers here. Like you said, some of that's probably due to some early incidents by some cars, but you don't gain 13 spots by accident. That's a good solid race.
Definitely here you could junk the car and be back in the field. You got to run pretty much clean the whole way. So anytime you're gaining spots at this track, you're doing something right.
Concur, and you can see just how far everybody's getting spread out, which I think drives that point home even more. Barry Stockdale up 4 spots in P23. Peter Nodwell in the Mark Bradshaw livery. P24. Jeff Torbeck, I do believe he was involved in an earlier incident as well. Now, I should say, as a reminder, if anybody's tuned in for the first time, the Sunday Night Skippy Racing League does use one fast repair. So all these drivers, if they did tow earlier or make it to pit road, you do have one ability to kind of reset your car and come back out with a fresh set of paint and all your bumps and bruises healed. And so that may be what happened with Jeff, but Nelson Addison just behind him, I did see him involved in an early incident as well. Currently sitting in P26, R. Scott Bell. A lot of these drivers trying to recover what they can from early race incidents. And then Louis in P28, currently down 14 spots. And that's it. Everybody else is, well, Jake Ashe, apologies to Jake, he's in pit road. Just lost him. And then Jonathan Dockery and Scott Dorkins are going to be the last ones who are actually still remaining out on the course.
Yeah, only 5 drivers out of the race, or yeah, 5 drivers out of the race. So that's pretty good here at this track. I mean,
yeah,
such a long
absolutely.
Track.
Still,
I mean, yeah, still good.
Still, yeah, it's, no, I agree. It's for only 5 cars to be out with the complicated corners that we have here is a testament to these drivers. And granted, they have a little bit more room to kind of spread out and share the road, but that's not what they want to do. They're racing. They're trying to beat each other. So, you know, at some point you just got to go for it. And the fact that we've got only 5 cars out now is pretty great. I did say that we were going to go back and try to check everything out, but I think the racing has just been too dang good right here, especially up at the lead. You can see we said 1.7 seconds. Judah's going to take the white flag. They've knocked a whole second off of that, Chris and Pete have. So this race for the podium is set, but how that podium looks, far from decided.
Yeah, the last lap was just a little bit quicker for Chris and Pete. And if you're in Judah's position, you want to see those 2 battling in your mirror side by side so he can start to pull away. So you never know. Maybe Pete might try to make a move on Chris to help. That would help out Judah to go on board with Pete here. Just getting through the corners, hitting those apexes, using those, going to the track limit, really doing a good job. And you know, this is a momentum car. I've said it probably 1,000 times so far this broadcast. So it's just utilizing as much pace as they can. But Judah still out in front. Got a 0.3 of a second gap.
As I say, it's a great point. You know, for a time, it's good to be in the back and kind of watching on, but you brought up a great point. Any move that, well, I spoke too soon. I was gonna say any move that Pete tries to make on Chris is gonna just let Judah get away, but now Pete's gonna watch on as Judah and Chris kind of battle it out, and he's got plenty of time still to see how that's gonna play out.
Yeah, purple sector 1 for Pete. He had this lap, so he's just kind of waiting there. Quickest time so far is with Judah in the 801 bracket, just a little bit quicker than Pete, but you're not really going to probably see the super fastest lap of the race here because they're battling so much. But Pete's doing a real good job, just kind of waiting for an opportunity. I think once they get to the long straightaway towards the end of this track, that's where we're really going to see these drivers really go for it.
Yeah, agreed. A little further back here, we've got Mike Bowers looking up at Jason Bice. I do believe that Jason passed Mike because last time we checked in, Mike was ahead of Jason. So Jason making the move on Mike Bowers to move up into P6. That'll get him to where he started on the grid. And Mike Bowers still up 2 spots, so still a pretty strong race for him. But we'll try to maintain contact with that 21 car of Jason. And just a little further back, we've got Jeremy Grandin and Steve Dewar. No, I'm sorry, Sean Trediak. Jeremy Grandin and Steve Dewar. I can click on names. There we go. This is a pretty good battle. They've, got a pretty good gap up to Bill, but this is going to be your battle for P12. And I know all these guys race hard and fast and clean, and let's ride on board like we did with Pete, with Steve Dewar back here, and check this out. We'll go check in with the leaders here shortly. Just keep an eye out. Judah Tolman has retaken the lead as Chris Herrera remains in second, and Timo Broughton actually back 6.5. Nope, disregard.
About 6
tenths. Carl there. 6
I was gonna say the same thing.
That was a little too much.
Yeah, I was like, he didn't fall back that much, but he has fallen back a little bit. But
I thought maybe he slipped. Nope.
Yeah.
Silly of me to assume that Pete would slip.
Yeah, it's a nice battle. Pete made the move on Chris there. Pete's
well, let's check back in.
Yeah, here we are. Pete just took over the lead over Judah. Made a nice move on Chris. See Judah just sitting in a good opportunity, trying to find a way. Pete's showing the way right now.
So they just passed about the halfway mark on the lap, just to give everybody a sense of where we're at. They still got nearly a half a lap to go. Not to mention that long straightaway that we saw them take, and all bets are off once you reach that. That's going to be a lot of jockeying, positioning, and we're going to move from checkers to chess.
Yeah, it's a game of chess when it gets to these straightaways with this car. You want to make sure you make the right move at the right time. These drivers want to win. To win here in the Sunday Night Skippy race in this league is this. If you can get a win here, you're one of the top drivers. And right now it's a 3-way battle for that lead or for that win. Pete, Judah, and Chris been battling all over. Made a little bit of a gap. Judah has made on Chris, but still in a nice spot to able to maintain this 3-way train. Pete's got to be perfect here. If he wants to try to maintain this lead, he's got to be perfect.
There's somebody who's going to be real calm in this situation. He's probably whistling a tune right now. Pete, he's got ice in his veins. I will say that I would never, ever take away the motivations of Pete or Chris, but already having won here in this league, to your point, Judah, I got to give the edge to him on motivation and want to. And that's not to take, like I said, not to take away from Pete or Chris's want to, but man, to get notch that first victory and Sunday Night Skippy has got to be something special. So he's got to have that on his brain for sure.
Yeah, Pete made just a little bit of a gap there. Just got through those couple corners a little bit quicker, but Judah able to maintain and close the gap back up after the straightaway. Still waiting to go to the long straightaway. Just going through these
glitch
corners.
there, apologies. All right,
Yeah,
so, ooh, man, I wanted to check back in. We've got a great battle. I don't know if you guys are watching on that timing tower, but Jeremy, Sean, and Steve down there battling for P12 have a great battle going on, but I would be remiss as we approach the checkered flag here to move away from this battle for the lead. Just keep your eyes on that timing tower. Those guys are going back and forth and trading barbs.
Yeah, Pete able to still show the way, but Judah's right at the gearbox, and this was the point of the lap. Pretty much going to be a chess match. Who's going to make the first move? And this is not in slow-mo. This is full speed on the straightaway.
You got, there you go. I was going to say, you want to make it, but you got to pick the right time. Because he's going to stall out there. Oh, Pete throws the block, but Chris is going to make it around.
Yeah, Judah able to
Judah's
make it
gonna
around.
have the advantage. Maybe. They're going to go
three
three
wide
wide into the last final turns.
This is the win it or wear it moment. Bring the steering wheel the trophy.
Licking it, sending it. Pete gets into Chris. Judah's going to take it. No competition. Judah's going to cross the line. Congratulations to the 222. Chris Herrera and Pete Mulbron is going to round out. Carl Dronke coming up out of nowhere there for the P4. Jeffrey Decker in P5. Jason Bice gonna glide it home in P6. I'll be honest with you, I'm still not 100% sure where that start-finish line is. So I'm really glad we didn't have to call it at the line.
And they're right about
Paul
somewhere.
Beatty, somewhere in there. Mike Bowers, Don Parks, Doug Metzel, as we talked about, up 21 spots in the Red Bull 398. Bill Groombridge with a nice run there in P11. Here we go, Sean Trediak, Jeremy Grandin, and Steve Dewar. This is the battle from P12 I was talking about. Looks like Sean's gonna come out victorious in that battle. A little further back, Oliver Harley's got Ruben Ray in his draft.
Always a smile on Oliver.
Ruben's gonna send it wide. Right. Makes me smile. Ruben's gonna send it around Oliver there, and looks like he's gonna take home P16 pretty comfortably. The tongue,
Yeah, the
I think it's the tongue.
right around there. What a fun race.
Carter Stickney brings it home, P19. Yeah, great race, and yeah, we got some comments here on the interwebs from Team Running on Empty. You know, I think that's fair. For those of you who aren't following the comments, Running on Empty is saying basically Chris Herrera gets the motivation he needs because he gets put in a burlap sack and beaten if he loses. So Chris is not in for a great evening out there in California tonight. But he did put on he did try. He can't say that he didn't try. Phil's gonna take it home, P21. Here comes Barry Stockdale. And I don't see much in the way of battles for the rest. Gonna be basically everybody finishing comfortably where they are. Jeff Torbeck in P23, Nelson Addison in P24. And you can see R. Scott Bell kind of making his way through the last few corners. Running out of gas, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
20 quickest pit stop of the day.
Limping it around there. I think he was involved early, so maybe he just took fuel early, and yeah, who knows what happened there. But Louis coming home P26, and I think that's it. Okay, never mind. We got Jake Ashe up 3 spots in P27. does look like he's going to be him and Jonathan Dockery. The last one's on track. Yeah, Louis getting a warm welcome from team running on empty, assuming that's what happened there.
Yeah, this race didn't disappoint. Well, Sunday Night Skippy never disappoints. But definitely any race
Yeah, I'll
here.
tell
at the
you that.
ring.
I want to take one more look at that finish there. We'll let Jake have his moment, but Jonathan Dockery still about halfway through the lap. We'll focus on him and get him some time in the spotlight. But I want to go back and look at that last couple turns with Chris and Pete and kind of try to break down just a little bit what happened. They obviously played the draft. Judah played the draft really well, had the position going into it, and ultimately held it off. And there's Jonathan Dockery making his way around. He's going to come home. P30 down 6 spots. So, like I said, finishing, like you said, I think too, finishing is half the battle here. So hats off to all these drivers for making it across the line, and really great to see. Let's go back. Here's our final few turns.
Oh yeah, like
So
the
Chris
great Nick
actually
Strickland
had
said, you got to first to win to finish first. You must first finish. So
his first finish. That's right.
I butchered the. Oh yeah, just kind of
No,
got
I
him
like
just
it.
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So it kind
you're
of
going
looked.
for it.
Yep.
That
And Chris's
happens.
wing was already bent. I don't know what happened there. So it looks like there may have been contact earlier. Chris had the advantage going through that first turn, but like you said, advantages are fleeting. Judah had the inside line, and I think Chris just had to check up, and Pete not expecting. You could see him locking up the brakes, smoke going flying, and still wasn't enough to avoid the contact there with 687. And I think they ended up finishing how they were going to finish anyway, but yeah, we'll see. Well, let's bring in some folks to talk to. We've got Paul. Let's bring in Paul first. I think that would probably be good. He ended up finishing P7 out there. Sorry, trying to do two things at once here. And we've got Paul Beatty in the booth. Strong finish, qualified 8th, I believe. Ended up 7th, and a pretty strong run here at Nords. How did it feel for you?
Yeah, pretty good. I was on my own most of the time. I sort of lost the sort of train of about 9 cars on lap one. There's a bit blinking issue there that separated, and then one missed gear, and that was it. I lost Mike Bowers, so yeah, it was all right. They made it round in one piece. That's the main thing.
Yeah, yeah, we were saying earlier that is half the battle. There is just making it making it around this dang track. So did you have any particular strategy going to it with the limited to 5 laps as opposed to a timed race? Obviously, that may have taken a little bit of the pit strategy out of it, and with the longer laps, did you have any idea of when you were going to take your pit stop going into it, or are you just going to kind of play it by ear?
I figured on lap 3, but it just depended. If I thought I was behind someone that was holding me up, I would have pitted on lap 2, but that didn't happen. So might as well just drive around with a nice light car for a bit longer. If that's
There
how
you
the
go.
maths works, I don't know.
Sounds good to me. I don't know. I can't back that up, but it sounds good to me.
Of course, yeah, I got into the pit stall and then had to reverse. So that was it. Everyone left me up behind then. It's like, 2 seconds reversing.
Yeah, I was trying to see here. We do keep stats on the total pit time, and we try not to call out when people are a little too long, but it's a good amount
Yeah,
too, because if it's like 40 seconds long, then they got a penalty. But if it's just a couple
So what?
seconds,
So what was mine compared to others? How ropey was it? Because I know it wasn't good.
I mean, it wasn't too bad. You had a 33.58, and most others were the high 20s, low 30s. There were some folks in the 33s, 34s as well. So, ultimately, and the fact that you finished P7, I think, is indicative of that. So, it ultimately probably not hurt you too bad, but yeah, certainly the leaders were solid 45 seconds faster.
Yeah, I don't think it affected my race, but 4 seconds, crikey, that's huge. Oh well.
All right, man. Well, hey, do you have any shout outs you want to give? It was a great race for you.
Yeah, it's good fun. Oh, just hello to Team Milo. If anyone's watching, I sent the word out because we're in Australia, so only people watching will be people pretending to work during lockdown at home. So hello to anyone that's watching and being very
I don't know what
naughty.
that's
Have a
like.
nice day.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Hey, well, yeah, well, awesome result tonight for you. Actually, shoot, I usually am better at this. Actually, I lied about that too. Where are we next week? I don't even know.
Zolder.
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 Yeah.
Okay, yeah. How's your
Yeah.
results at Zolder?
My Zolder is useless. I don't even think I'm going to be racing much this week, so I need about 6 drop weeks this season, and Zolder will be another one of them. So we'll see how we go. I definitely won't be finishing P7 next week for sure.
I need 12 drop weeks, so you're good.
Oh, all right, nice.
All right, man. Well,
I
hey,
look forward to seeing you. Catch you later.
awesome. Congrats again.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya. All right, that's Paul Beatty. P7 for the evening. Really nice result for him. And another one of our Aussie friends. Great to have him here. Let's bring in Jeffrey Decker now. I'm trying to save some. I'm going to save Jason for last year. But Jeffrey, so we watched Jeffrey hanging out there. Kind of looked like you were biding your time a little bit with that front pack. You were able to maintain and kind of separate yourselves from the rest of the pack. And I don't know what happened after that. So talk us through what you saw.
Yeah, no, that was kind of the plan. Is just like sit back, fuel save, make sure I'm happy to go the 3 laps. I was kind of like at the end of lap 2, I was like, all right, well, if the pack dives in, I'll dive in, and if not, I won't. And Carl dove in, but no one else did. So I was like, all right, well, this works out. I'll stay out. But there's like an uphill right-hander that you have to take pretty quickly. And last season, I lost it in lap 1 there, and this season, lap 3, the back snapped out. But luckily, I saved it. But yeah, I lost the front pack from that, and I kind of had no chance after that.
Gotcha. Yeah, we were watching. I thought for sure. Avery mentioned that's the place you want to be, and I didn't disagree with him. Just kind of watching, checking it out, see what happens, and I thought maybe you were in a really good position there. Did you? We asked Paul this too. I'm very curious about this because we do the pit stop, right? And I don't want to keep asking the same questions, but at this particular track, it intrigues me just because I try to get in the minds of what you guys are thinking, you faster guys. What was your thought process going into it with only 5 laps? There's not a lot of variation. Carl obviously took the early one and nobody followed him. So, did you have any inclination to follow him into the pits, or were you like, no, I'm sticking with these guys?
It was really as long as I had someone to draft, I was staying out for the 3 laps. I actually, in qualifying, I made sure that you could make it the 3 laps on the fuel because it wasn't super clear if you could or not. And luckily, I was able to do it well enough in qualifying that I felt pretty confident for the race. So, yeah, I kind of knew I'd stay out 3 unless the whole front pack went.
Awesome. Well, we've got Zolder up next, and I've been meaning this whole time. Sorry, I'm trying to do like 3 different things at once. Avery, do you have any questions?
All right. Yeah, we're going to Zolder next, Jeffrey. It's a way different track. It's just a little bit shorter than this. Okay, a lot shorter. All right. What do you think of that
Just
track?
a touch, right?
I had a really good time at Zolder last season. I actually didn't get to race the Sunday night Skippy race at Zolder though, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I had some pretty good success in pubs last season at Zolder, so I'm looking forward to it. I think the big thing to watch out for is just that first chicane. Like, it's your main overtaking opportunity, and it's also your main disaster opportunity.
Yeah, every track's got that nice overtaking opportunity, but it also comes with that side effect of the disaster opportunity. So it's a way different track. Uh, but before I guess I don't know if Chris has any more questions for you, but is there anybody you'd like to thank?
No, yeah,
No,
no. I was just gonna say, as I was pulling that up, I was trying to see maybe where you finished last season. But as I was doing that, you said I didn't get a chance to race that. So,
yeah. No, I didn't get to race
yeah.
Zolder, sadly, but no, yeah, I guess I actually want to thank Pete for towing me around in some pub races. I think I have like a top 4 or top 5 time in the pubs. So like I'm on the world record board pretty high up, and that's all because I just got dragged around by Pete all week.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Still a world record, man. Well, cool. Congratulations on pretty good finish. I was you got a P5 out of it. You kind of maintained and more or less uneventful. I'd say that's a win, especially at a track I think we take for granted how difficult this track is, and especially for the folks watching. Like, just we were talking about this earlier. Just surviving is something. The fact that you were able to finish P5 in a field this full of competition is really fantastic. So, nice job, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yeah, thanks guys. I wish I could have sprung my trap there at the end, but I'll take the P5. It's a good finish.
I was waiting for it. Yeah. Well, we'll just keep it primed for Zolder, and you can spring it there.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one.
Who said this track wasn't easy? It's super easy. Close your eyes.
That's right. My strategy. Let's bring in Jonathan Dockery. Jonathan, he was out there turning laps at the very end. I think I saw you off track at one point, which probably is the story of what happened here. But yeah, talk us through what you saw.
I do not like this place. So it's like struggle
That's
here all the
fair.
time. Qualified
That's
24.
fair.
So, like we talk about every week, qualified 24th again. And then by the time we're into sector 2, 14th, 15th. And then there was some race chatter that happened with some blinking, and I just got listening to that and lost focus. And here, if you lose focus for a second, you're pretty well toast. So I wrecked myself. It is what it is. Story of my season, I think. So it's been just one of those seasons. Next week we go to Zoders, so looking forward to that. But what can I say?
Yep. Yeah. No, that's fair. Not to bore the viewers, but something we've been talking about is just getting through this track is just kind of a feat unto itself. So
yeah, I had gotten an email on my
you got points out of it.
A few, I think. I got an email on my phone right as the race got ready to start that my iRacing subscription was up. So I was aggravated after I wrecked, and I was like,
I was gonna say.
That's enough for that. So I left and renewed my subscription, and it was like, well, just will hop back in and see if I can gain a few places. So
Yeah, I was gonna say the timing there was fantastic. I saw you start, and then I got the message there on whatever it was, Twitch or YouTube, from you, and I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? That's a pretty funny story, though. That you had to resubscribe there mid race. I don't know that I've heard that one before.
Yeah, I got mad because I wrecked myself and hit the leave button, and it was like, well, since I'm gonna be back in iRacing resubscribing, just go finish the race. But I hop in the interview booth because you put a lot of effort into it every week, and we all appreciate it. So
yeah.
But,
sorry, I just focused. JR Hoops just lost a wheel there, but yeah, man, really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing what you can do at Zolder next week. It's just gonna be a completely different feel to everything. Nords is always just kind of it's just always felt like kind of a weird one-off, and very niche, but still pretty cool. That being said, I think the competition is going to be, quite intense
So,
coming back to Zolder.
like, we're gonna end the season at Mount Panorama, and then
That's
these two
true.
tracks are kind of similar in a way. They're both uphills, downhills. They both remind me of each other. The difference is Mount Panorama you can race on. This track is just brutal. It's fun, but
Hmm.
it's brutal to race on. So, but I'm looking forward to Spa. I've been talking with some of the guys, and they're like, "Go to VRS, look at the telemetry." I've tried that; it doesn't work. But I've been studying and watching how they drive the car. We'll see how Spa goes, because I think Spa will be a whole new race.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'll circle that one on my calendar then, if that's the case.
One of the things Carl Dronke's constantly telling me is, "You drive okay, but if you want to go faster, you gotta throw it in there and slide it a little bit." So we're gonna work on it.
That's right. That's right. Really explore the limits of those tires. That's what's great about not having racing slicks is a little bit more grip. But hey, man, well done. Survived the green hell, and looking forward to seeing what you can do at Zolder.
And you know the best part? If I keep wrecking them, I don't have to pay to fix them. So
That's right.
y'all have that going.
Gotta pay the subscription, but you don't gotta pay to fix the car. It's always a good one.
That's right. That's right. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all next week.
All right, we'll see it. All right, so I've been dominating this. I'm gonna bring in Chris Herrera, who finished second. I'll let you lead the way there, Avery. So my apologies.
Sounds like a plan. First off, Christopher, congratulations on a podium finish.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I mean, this is such a tough track, one of the toughest tracks on the service, and you came home second. On that final lap, what was your mindset going into that? Because it's going to be a battle.
Oh, absolutely. So going into that last lap, I think Pete and I came out maybe 2 seconds or so behind Judah, who I didn't realize was Judah until the very end of the race. I thought that was still Carl. And I knew that if I just stayed behind Pete, he would either be able to catch Judah eventually, or we could work together on one of the straights to catch him. So I wasn't too worried about that. It wasn't really until that final straight, and I'm not sure actually if you guys were watching us going into the final carousel, but I messed up a little bit right before that. But luckily, I was able to stay in the draft. So going onto the final straight of the final lap, we're playing some cat and mouse games, deciding who's gonna play chicken and decide to go all out last on the final straight, because generally that's the person who's gonna win. And then I thought I had it, and then Pete, totally legal and sportsman move. He moved over to get into the draft, and that sort of swerved me out of the way. So then I didn't quite have the momentum, and then we were going 3 wide, and then I think Pete pulled out because he wanted to stay alive. Judah and I were going into that final turn, and I guess he was just a little braver and maybe a little faster today going into that one. And he got the win, and I'm happy for him. I think this is only his 6th race with Sunday Night Skippy. It's got to be a record for fewest races to their first win. But in terms of overall performance, I'm happy with my second place. Obviously, I'd rather have the win, but because Pete Mulbroten is such a monster on this course, he's putting up incredible times throughout the entire week. I just wanted to stay behind him as much as possible. And if I lost his draft, I would not have caught up with him. So I'm glad I was able to do that. And I'm glad I was able to finish ahead of him, even though I think in terms of total points, again, if my math is correct, he got the bonus point for pole position, and I think 1 bonus point for a lap led, and I finished 1 ahead of him. So he pulled within 1 more point of me today, but I'll consider that a success since, again, he is just a monster on this particular track.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would take that as a win any day. To take a little a note out of his book, because usually he's the one that's leading the way, and for you to take home second place is just a super impressive run. We go from the long track here to a little bit of a different track in Zolder. What's going to be the mindset going into next week?
Oh man, I'm actually excited for Zolder. That is the track last season where I think that might have been my first pole position, and then I was actually leading the race going into the final lap, and then there was unfortunate contact with someone else and took me out. But at least on last season's tire model, I was very confident going into that track. So the tires are, if anything, a little bit more forgiving now. So Hopefully, I'm still as competitive on Zolder as I was last season, but I do like the track, and I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, congratulations on a great run here, and look forward to seeing you wheel the car around next week.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys out there.
All right, that was P2, Chris Herrera, and we've kept him waiting quite long enough, and our apologies to our race winner and first time Sunday Night Skippy race winner, Judah Tolman, had a fantastic race, maintained the position, kept the car where it needed to be, and played that last straightaway to perfection to put himself in the place he needed to be to win. So Judah, talk us through what you were thinking going through that white flag lap. Oh, hold on. Saying I muted him. I don't know why that would be the case. Judah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. Can you hear me?
Hey, all right. Sorry about that. It says I muted you. I did not mean to do that if I did it. So, all right. So we'll start over.
Okay.
Did you hear the question?
Yes, I did. So
okay, excellent.
Thank you
Go
for the
for it.
congratulations. I really appreciate it. So happy with that. But so to be honest, I really wasn't thinking anything. I was just in the zone, letting my subconscious do whatever I needed to do to get the win. And I had practiced passing on that last straight a lot in the open session races, and I had, like you said, I had basically gotten it down to perfection. Man, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm still so frazzled. But I actually ran out of fuel on the finish line. As I crossed the line, the engine started cutting out, and I got about one more corner before the car would not drive anymore. So that pit stop really was what did it for me. I think I must have had a NASCAR pit crew or something, because goddamn, they were quick. But
I'll tell you what, man. I made the comment, and when you go back and watch the broadcast, you'll see I was like, man, that was a very, very fast pit stop. Avery thought maybe you had grease the palms of your pit crew a little bit or something like that. But I was just a little worried that you hadn't had enough fuel. I think Team Running on Empty would be super proud to hear that you limped it across the line, but they played it to perfection.
Thank you. Oh man, I'm so happy with that. It was it was stressful seeing Pete and Chris come up on me on that last lap like that. On the last two laps, because I had about a 2-second gap after the pit stop, and they were just playing musical to cars, catching up to me, and there's nothing I could have done. I mean, I have no one to draft, no one to draft me, so I was kind of stuck, just trying to drive the best I could and kind of wait for them to catch up, because it's inevitable with drivers like Chris and Pete that they will catch up. And I'm just pleased as hell with myself with that race, man. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely well earned. One last question, because I want some continuity here, and that's the same question that I asked everybody else. Carl was the first one to go into the pits there. So we talked a little bit about how quick your pit stop was, but did you know going into it what you wanted to do, or were you kind of set on, hey, I'm gonna see how the race plays out if I'm gonna do lap 3 or lap 4, because there's just not a ton of options when you only have a 5-lap race.
So I kind of had it planned out in my head that I would do the pit stop on lap 3 going into lap 4, because that's just how I had done it all week. I was running 40-minute practice sessions by myself on 51% fuel to just simulate the race, and I tried to cut back on as much fuel as I could possibly take by just seeing how much fuel I had left at the end of those practice sessions after filling up with 10.1 and 10.1. The magic number ended up being around 6.5. I think it was a little bit closer to 6.6 than anything, and it played out almost perfectly. I mean, I couldn't have done it better if I had tried.
Well, I love it when a plan comes together. I'm just super pumped for you, man. That is a great run. You beat 2 of the fastest guys, not only in the league, but on the service. So I would do time to
Oh
celebrate, man.
man.
That was a
Take a
fantastic run.
screenshot, man. Take a screenshot.
Yeah,
That's
right.
right.
Now, I mean, I'm gonna go through the whole broadcast and record the parts that I want to see, and that's probably gonna be a 40-minute long video. But
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, that's some good momentum going into Zolder, and we're looking forward to seeing that how you can continue on this streak. I'm gonna call this a streak, man. And I know it's just one, but you haven't run too many races with Sunday Night Skippy, but each one has just gotten better and better and better, and now you've won. So that monkey's off the back, and now I think we've unleashed you. And I'm sure the other guys are kind of sweating a little bit. So, do you have anybody or any shout outs to give?
just to all my family members that watched the race, and my boss, my family members, my boss, all those guys and girls that watched me take that victory home. It means so much, and obviously shout out to Pete and Chris for motivating me to get across the line first. And shout out to really everyone in that race for doing such a good job at, like, for you for doing the broadcast, and just for everyone else for keeping the race good. And obviously to the league stewards to keeping the racing clean and fair. Basically everyone that's involved in this, I want to shout them out because everyone plays their own part and everyone means a ton to the league. And that's about it.
Well, man, we'll be celebrating with you tonight. Congratulations once again. It's it. It's etched in history now, and it was really job well done. This wasn't a fluke, and we're looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season holds for you.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate that. One thing that that Chris, or maybe it was Jason, mentioned is that me winning on my fourth race is a Sunday Night Skippy record. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would be pretty dang cool if it was.
I know
brought it
I need
up.
to go back and verify that, but yeah. Other than the fact that when we started out, obviously the league, some of the guys there were racing that, but I think we can probably verify that. But just being a member of the league, I gotta say that sounds right. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Like,
That's really cool,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
100%. Yeah, I have nothing. I didn't argue that because I was like, yeah, no, that sounds legit. There's nothing wrong that's about that. So that just kind of adds to the lore, I think. And yeah, there you go.
Cool, man. Cool. All right, I will. I'll see you guys next week, man. Thank you so much for bringing me into the interview booth. I appreciate it. And
yeah, sorry for making you wait, but
no
congratulations, and yeah, hopefully you can get some sleep tonight, man. That's awesome.
Hopefully, might have too much adrenaline going through me, but yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a good
See you
night.
guys later. Yeah, you too. Bye bye.
All right, Avery, man, that's awesome. I love that. I love that energy. He got a new winner in the league, and he he gets it. He gets how cool the what that means, and he did. He beat some of the fastest guys on the service, and he did it clean, and he did it well. So I don't know. I'm pumped for him. I'm pumped for Sunday Night Skippy to have a new winner, and kind of injecting new life into it. And yeah, it's just man, it's just a feel good night.
Oh yeah, absolutely, feel good night. Anytime you want to get a new winner, but just get anybody that has that kind of excitement to iRacing. It's always makes it way more enjoyable because not everybody's got the opportunity to go race in the real life. So if you can bring that excitement into the simulator, and just makes it fun for everybody around, fun for the viewers, fun for the racers. Just having a good attitude always does so much for any league.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. And yeah, just want to give a quick everybody who's watching. Thank you guys, everybody, for checking out the stream and following your favorite drivers. Obviously, we had some R. Scott Bell fans. We had some Running on Empty fans. Joe Zubovich and his crew were out tonight. Like, it's just so great to see. It just pumps me up. There's just some nights where I'm just tired. It's end of a long weekend. I've got young kids and all that, and it's just so cool to come out and be part of this and bring that joy and action to you, and then to have Judah come out and just be so excited to win that, and rightly so. It's just so awesome to be a part of all this, and thank you. And I don't know if anybody's aware, but Avery was a very last minute gracious add to the broadcast. So we basically gave him zero prep, and you came out and nailed it, man. And I really appreciate it because, like I said, not everybody likes to listen to Chris for 40 minutes.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of big
straight,
Chris
and
fans
you
in the
really
chat.
had,
So.
and you added a lot. You added a ton of perspective, and so we really appreciate that.
My pleasure. I just had the opportunity. My weekends of being free starting to dwindle down, so I figured I'd take a Sunday night and call a little Skippy action.
There you go. Well, man, I appreciate it once again. Avery stepping in on the 11th hour and helping out the broadcast, and that just kind of goes to show you the quality and character of the people that we have racing in the league, and so happy to be a part of it. Like I said before, I'm gonna say good night to everybody. We will see you next week at the same time, same station, and we will be at Circuit Zolder. I think that Nürburgring is fun for sure. It's got its place, but I'm looking forward to some more wheel to wheel action there, getting those cars bunched up just a little bit more than we saw tonight. Congratulations once again to Judah Tolman on his first Sunday Night Skippy victory. The rest of our podium, Chris Herrera and Pete Mulbroughton. Pete bringing home the pole position and points as well. And really just for everybody, great clean race tonight. Probably a few things for the stewards to look at, but overall, just a great, enjoyable Sunday night as we head into the week. And unless you got anything else, Avery, I think we'll say good night.
No, it was a fun race, man. Looking forward to watching next week.
Perfect. All right. Peace out, everyone.